All right, strap yourselves in because we're diving deep into AI today. And wow, you weren't kidding when you said you wanted the latest, huh? Talking robots, Chipotle,
Yeah.
even nuclear power plants. I think we've got all our bases covered.
It's a great selection of topics, and it really does highlight just how much AI is spreading into every corner of life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just some niche tech thing anymore.
Right. It's everywhere you look. Speaking of which, let's talk about ChatGPT for a sec. It writes poems, answers questions, but now it's messaging people out of the blue. I mean, did you catch that story about it asking someone about their high school? Kind of creepy, right?
It's definitely pushing the boundaries. On one hand, it's incredible how natural AI interactions are becoming.
Right.
But yeah, it does raise some eyebrows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where's the line between helpful and intrusive? I think that's a debate we're going to be having a lot more of.
No kidding. And hold on to your hats because this next one's a doozy. Microsoft is apparently looking into using nuclear power to fuel its AI development. And not just any power plant, we're talking 3 Mile Island. Remember what happened there? Makes you think twice, right?
Yeah, and it really underlines the sheer amount of energy we're talking about with AI. It's not even just about being green, although obviously that's important, but it's more about having a power source that you know is going to be rock solid 24/7. Imagine if self-driving cars, global communication, all powered by data centers, and then the power blinks out. That's the kind of scale we're dealing with here. It's huge.
No kidding. It's a whole other level of importance, that's for sure. But hey, let's shift gears from potential meltdowns to something a little tastier, right? Chipotle. Remember that article about Autocado?
Yeah.
It's not like they've got robot chefs whipping up burritos just yet.
Not quite.
Right. But it is interesting.
It's definitely a sign of things to come, though, isn't it?
Totally is. This tech is straight up taking over stuff humans used to do, like chopping all the veggies, getting the portions right.
And that's what's happening across the board, really.
Yeah.
Fast food, they're all about speed and making sure every burrito, every burger is identical, right? Automation's a perfect fit for that. Makes you think, though,
Big time.
what happens to all those jobs, right?
Ah,
As this tech gets more sophisticated, it's a question we're going to have to grapple with.
absolutely. And speaking of jobs potentially being, disrupted by AI,
Mhm.
what about Hollywood? That article about Runway partnering with Lionsgate? Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Runway software is insane. It can basically take your phone footage and make it look like a blockbuster action scene.
I mean, imagine that. Instead of needing a $1 zillion budget and a crew of hundreds, you could have one person, some serious talent, and the right AI tools. Boom. Hollywood quality stuff, just like that.
That's the thing, right? It completely changes who gets to tell stories and how they get told. Not just about replicating what we've already seen, but opening doors for totally new voices, different perspectives. We could be on the verge of this whole new wave of independent cinema, all thanks to AI.
And hey, if we've had a few more awesome cat videos with killer special effects along the way, I'm not complaining, but you've hit on something huge here. It's not just about the tech itself, but how it completely reshapes the playing field. I mean, we started with AI testing us out of the blue, and now we're talking about it potentially transforming entire industries, even creative ones.
And it's happening fast. It can
Yeah.
feel overwhelming for sure. We're talking about AI being used to power entire cities, make decisions about our jobs, even influence the art we consume. It's a lot.
It really is. So much to unpack there. Out of everything we've covered, ChatGPT's chats, nuclear-powered AI, even our robot burrito makers, is there's anything that really jumps out at you? What are your big takeaways?
It's tough to pick just one. I will say this. It's becoming impossible to ignore just how deeply AI is intertwined with our lives. I mean, it's everywhere. Restaurants, power grids, even the movies we watch. And it's not always obvious either.
It's like it's weaving itself into the very fabric of our world without us even noticing half the time, you know?
Exactly. And that leads me to my second point. The whole robots are going to take our jobs thing, it's not some far-off threat anymore. It's happening now across every industry you can think of. Automation in restaurants, AI taking over creative tasks.
Yeah.
It's not just factory work
But
anymore.
it's easy to get scared about that.
Sure, sure. But here's the thing, and this is my third point. Yeah, all this stuff is happening fast, but we're not towerless. The more we understand how these technologies work, what they can do, what the potential downsides are, well, that gives us more power to shape how they're used, how they affect our lives. We don't have to just sit back and let it happen.
It's about being informed, engaged, right? Taking control instead of just being swept along with the tide. I like it.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, right?
mean,
Especially when it comes to something as powerful as AI.
you know what? This feels like the perfect moment to pause for a sec. If you're listening to this, grab a notepad, jot down some thoughts. What surprised you so far? What are you curious about? We'll be here when you're ready for more. Ready for more.
Okay, good, because we've got one last mind-blowing thing to throw at you before we wrap up this AI deep dive. Remember how we were talking about AI getting more, I don't know,
Human.
more natural in how it interacts and stuff? Well, get this.
It's called chain of thought reasoning, and it's seriously cool. Basically, it's about teaching AI to think in a more structured, step-by-step way. Like, instead of just spitting out an answer, it can actually break down a problem into smaller steps, almost like we do.
So it's like the AI is showing its work now, explaining how it got to an answer instead of just, magically knowing the answer. Exactly. And it's not just theory either. There's this AI model, LLaMA-Berry, that's actually using this kind of reasoning to solve some seriously complex problems. It's wild. It's not just about finding the right answer anymore. It's about understanding how the AI got there.
Wow. It's like, it's almost like it's actually thinking, right? Not just processing information, but actually thinking things through. It really makes you wonder, where do we even go from here? If AI can already do that, what's next year going to look like?
Yeah.
5 years? 10?
$1 million question.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes all this so important to pay attention to.
Mm.
This isn't some sci-fi movie. It's happening right now. And the more we understand these developments, the better prepared we'll be to, deal with the changes they bring.
Totally. Food for thought, right. Well, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all of this incredible stuff. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI. You've given us a lot to think about too, Until next time.